Hi, it's Mitch from Pickdawgz.com here with your free pick in the Rutgers versus Maryland college basketball matchup on Sunday, February 25th, 2024. If you like all the free picks we do at Pickdawgz, you'll love our premium picks, our best bets. Use the discount code PICK for 15% off. We also have products meant for people who make big bets, have big bankrolls, looking to one-on-one concierge style service. We offer all of those things, but they're not available on the website. You have to text the number that you see on the screen. So if you make big bets, text that number. But let's get to this one. Rutgers taking on Maryland. We got noon Eastern time start on a Sunday. Big Ten college basketball action. Kind of like Sunday cards, right? You get all the kind of big conferences, usually throw a few games out there, and you get to see some of these teams like these guys who aren't necessarily at the top of the conference, probably aren't going to be a factor when March rolls around, but at the same time, you know what? You throw a couple bucks one way or the other, you're going to see some quality basketball, that's for sure. No slouches on either of these teams. They just don't maybe measure up to a lot of these other teams in this conference this season. You know, the Big Ten really not overall one of the tougher conferences in America this season. I think it's pretty top heavy with Purdue, maybe Illinois, and Wisconsin, if they're playing, you know, their best basketball, which we've seen them go through ruts where they don't. But, you know, I think outside of that, the rest of the conference, and Michigan State, of course, you know, they're definitely in that mix too. But I think, you know, outside of that, the bulk of the conference is in this kind of range here. Maybe these guys maybe to the lower range, and, you know, even teams like Nebraska or and Northwestern are above them this season. But, you know, Rutgers has a big, strong recruit coming in, another Harper, and I think that is going to lift things up going forward. But in the meantime here, the Knights have been pretty tough at home, 11-3 straight up. Just haven't been covering a lot of spreads at 8-6 against the number. Meanwhile, Maryland 5-7 or 3-7 on the road, but 5-5 against the number. They're 14-13 on the season, 3-7 in their last 10 games, and 5-5 against the number over that span. I think for Maryland, it's been a little bit of a disappointing season. I understand they lost one of their top players through the portal. He went to Villanova, who was just waving around cash in this offseason. If you want to talk about disappointing teams, different story, different video. But the thing is that Maryland comes into this one losing 5 of their last 6 games outright and covering the spread only twice in that span. Covering at Wisconsin in their last game, but losing by 4 points. They were getting 7.5. And then, of course, the win over Iowa, 78-66. That game was home, and they were a 5.5 point favorite. But outside of that, a lot of losing, including the loss at home against Rutgers, 56-53 as a 7.5 point favorite. You know, Rutgers is just one of those teams that, you know, I thought they'd come into this season very motivated after getting slighted last year in the NCAA tournament. Definitely deserving to be in, and then, you know, the committee comes up with some weird, stupid explanation that makes no sense whatsoever, and, you know, we all are supposed to just believe them, and, you know, there's nothing we could actually do about it, but you just got to say, man, there's got to be a better way, right? It's one of those got to be a better way conversations where it's like, we made that decision because it was our decision to make, even though there was teams way behind of all the measurables that they said that they used that were way behind Rutgers that got in. But anyways, back to this one. The Rutgers defense is still there. Very, very solid against this hideous Maryland offense. These guys are just about as bad as it gets. 300 plus in most of the major offensive categories. But Rutgers joins them there. And Maryland's defense is also pretty solid there. I just think Rutgers is a more driven team, more effort style team. I think that's what gets it done here for them. We saw them take it to Maryland in Maryland. I think they do it again here in Jersey. I'm going to take Rutgers, and that's going to be my free pick. Of course, while you're doing your picks, putting your bets in, be sure to use our free betting tools at sportschatplace.com. 100% free, and they'll help put you on the most favorable bets on the board today.